The MBTA does say that the ride will be operating on a case-by-case basis, medical emergencies only. Again, they will be out not until later today to check the tracks. They'd like to get the system back up and running for Monday morning's commute. For now, live at Park Street Station, Joe Shorts of WBZ News. Back to you, David.
Thank you. It'll be interesting to see if they can have everything back on schedule for tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see if there's any damage of trees falling down onto the tracks. We've already seen that happen on one occasion. If there's more than that, could cause problems for tomorrow. But Carrie, as we head back to you, I think that one of the things we're going to see here with the rain coming before the wind is that you're going to have this super saturated ground, which may not be able to hold some of these trees once we get some of the stronger wind gusts later on this afternoon.
It's exactly right, David. It's funny, you think about the wind blowing the trees over, but really it is the ground pulling them literally from their roots as well. Thank you so much. We'll touch base with you shortly outside our studios here. Meanwhile, some video just into the newsroom, some serious waves crashing along a beach in Montauk, New York. You can see it's causing some serious flooding there. Montauk is along the southern fork of Long Island, and as we've been reporting, now Tropical Storm Irene is beginning to bear down on New York at this hour. And it's not just humans looking for a dry land during Irene. Take a look down in New Jersey. This soaked opossum, poor guy, was seen searching for some shelter from the storm. As you can see from the video, the photographer wasn't risking the elements, shooting the pictures from inside a car. I don't know if I could stay in my car if I saw that. I'd have to run out and save him. Well, check out this dramatic video out of Asbury Park, New Jersey. A reporter getting ready to do live television gets a little bit of a surprise.
Whoa. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Grab the mic.
I love it. Let's get out of here. You can hear the mic plop into the water. Safe to say the crew probably changed locations at that point, and the photographer grabbing all his expensive equipment, as we know they like to do, of course. And it's been a tough week for the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C. You can see some trees are down around the holy place. Last week, the cathedral suffered some damage from the earthquake that struck the East Coast. Remember that. Well, officials in the Big Apple have been very concerned about the flooding Irene may cause in the city. This is the Howard Beach section of Queens, where you can see the streets are flooded. The strong winds are pushing the water into storefronts. The two New York airports located in Queens, LaGuardia and Kennedy, as well as all the airports in the New York area, have been shut down due to Irene. Joe Joyce has been standing by for us in Buzzards Bay, where they are keeping a close eye there because of the storm surge. Joe, what's going on now?
Well, Carrie, right now, of course, we've been eyeing Buzzards Bay mostly for the storm surge that's going to be occurring here, especially later tonight around 8 o'clock. That's going to be the highest tide of the month, this astronomical high tide along with the new moon, as the sun and the moon and the earth all are in alignment tonight, and that is creating this high tide. Unfortunately, it's occurring during a time when we're seeing seas up to around 15 to 30 feet off our coastline, and it's all going to come pile in. But right now, the problem is the wind. And this wind is just coming onshore out of the southeast. We've been seeing hurricane force gusts here. Pretty impressive. And unfortunately, it's the long duration of this wind that is going to be causing so much problems here across New England. We've been seeing the reports of the trees coming down. These winds have been really whipping around. It's getting so far, we've been seeing a few reports of some road closures here around Buzzards Bay. It's affecting many communities from Onset and also all the way towards New Bedford, Horseneck Beach, particularly bad here early this morning. But here at Mass Maritime, it's just a lot of wind. It's really whipping around here this morning. The problem, again, several hours of these occasional gusts that are going to be taking trees down. Then we focus for later tonight along with this storm surge. So reporting live here from Mass Maritime, I'm Joe Joyce, WBZ News. Back to you, Carrie.
All right, Joe, you'll be holding on before you know it. Thank you so much for that live report in Buzzards Bay. I just got a text from a friend of mine in Marion because she's been watching our coverage all morning long, where all the boats are thrashing about. This is a live picture of one of the boats that was let loose from its mooring. And we are keeping an eye on what the situation is down there with the storm surge. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Stay with WBZ AccuWeather as we follow Hurricane Irene.
With continuous updates on CBSBoston.com and on Twitter.
Stay updated with WBZ AccuWeather.
Some will insist that the new Chrysler Town & Country, the highest-ranked minivan in initial quality by J.D. Power & Associates, is the way to go. Others will argue the new Chrysler 200, with its best-in-class V6 fuel economy, is the way to go. But they'll all agree on where to go. The Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram Summer Clearance Event for the best deals of the year on both. Lease the 2011 Chrysler Town & Country Touring for $299 a month for well-qualified lessees.
Footwear. Buy one pair, get another pair half off. Huge savings for back to school. Famous Footwear. Make today famous.
You love the taste of 2% milk, but think about your heart. 2% has over half the saturated fat of whole milk. Want to cut back on fat and not compromise on taste? Try Smart Balance fat-free milk. It's what you'd expect from the folks at Smart Balance.
Hi, this is Mike Adams for the Peterson School. The Basic Electricity Program provides beginning students residential and commercial electrical training in a state-of-the-art electrical lab. In the Fire Alarm Program, students learn how to troubleshoot, install, and maintain fire alarm systems. The Electronic Surveillance Program focuses on all aspects of electronic surveillance, such as access control. When professional training counts, count on the professionals at the Peterson School. Call 781-938-5656 today and move up to the big leagues.
Soft 100% cotton, unbreakable buttons, non-iron for easy care. Right now at Men's Warehouse, it's buy one, get one free on everything in the store. Buy one, get one free on everything. You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
10, 9, 8. The Ford 10-day sale is counting down. Through September 5th, 10 days to get the best deals of the season from Ford. 10 days.
By, I would say, in an hour and a half to 2.5 hours. And then it's really focusing on the winds and the surf. And by tomorrow morning, we're back to sunshine. If we can go over to our live Doppler radar, I want to show you where we have some seriously intense bands of rain right now. And that's the bright yellow that you see that's pushing to the north-northwest. And it is right around 128. So let me get right in. We're getting it in the Needham area. We're getting pounded with heavy rain right now. And some of these heavy bands, Waltham, Newton, Needham, Dedham, Westwood, have some strong wind gusts sort of being mixed down to the surface with some of the heavier rain. You have substantial rain in Boston, but it's nothing like what's happening just to your west, up through Concord and Westford. And look how this continues to extend to the north-northwest. So it's crossing over the border into southern New Hampshire as well. So these heavy bands will continue, as I mentioned, for another hour or two, and then you will start to see the drier air work its way in. Look what's happening down along the south coast. Look at Connecticut, which had 4 or 5 inches of rain as of 4 this morning, now getting that dry slot to move in. So we will get improvement in the next hour or two when it comes to the rainfall. But then the focus again will be on the winds, especially those of you in southeastern Massachusetts, getting that strong south-southwesterly fetch as the storm passes by. We still have it to pass by to our west. That will be happening early this afternoon. Bianca and Randy, back to you.
Did you say back to sunshine tomorrow? Well, thank you, JC. That sounds great. Well, we'll get a better view.
Right now, normally you could walk out there on a nice sunny day, but certainly this is not a nice and sunny day. We have seen the surf up and down. Right now it seems to be a little less powerful than it was before. Obviously the tide is technically receding. Certainly some beach erosion that we've seen here in Westport, and from talking with the fire chief a short time ago, he says that on different parts of this town, and this is happening all over the south coast, you're dealing with down trees, down power lines, and some minor flooding in the roads. Now, we haven't heard of any reports of any major problems, but this is kind of what we've been talking about all week, what we expected, what would happen. And with this storm, it continues for a good while. So I think especially towards the afternoon, as the wind is still blowing down here, we're certainly going to see more of that damage, more of that beach erosion, and a lot of folks who will be losing power. One of the power poles in the area that we are is kind of on its side now. The rest of the lines are hanging up, but we actually moved our location a little bit. We're elevated now just because we wanted to kind of get away from those power poles. Obviously, these poles were put in a long time ago when this beach was a lot bigger, before a lot of the erosion here. And so they're right up close, touching the water. At 88, Route 88 in Westport, they're still telling people not to come down to the beaches. Horseneck Beach, is closed. It's been closed since Friday, most likely possibly closed tomorrow. And for the folks who are trying to get down here, basically you're going to be turned around by the police. They have been doing a great job. We haven't seen, except for maybe a few people, really haven't seen a lot of people coming down to this area. They've done a fantastic job of keeping people out of here. Last night, before they shut down this area, there were tons of people, tons of surfers, a lot of people out there with their cameras, and they were able to get some good pictures of the surf. It started building yesterday afternoon, and obviously, though, it's a lot higher than it was yesterday, and today it's really kicking up. And I think, as you can see, a lot of water and a lot of washover this morning. So, guys, yeah. Not a bad portion right now of the storm. I'll take it right now without the rain.
Yeah, no kidding. And it does feel like the winds have sort of subsided a little bit for him down there, where he can sort of think.
He's still kicking up a little bit, but certainly a little bit calmer than it was earlier this morning. I want to find out what's going on now down on the Cape. It's been pretty busy down there this morning, as you might expect. Kevin Morley, who's with the Barnstable County Emergency Planning Committee, joins us this morning. And Kevin, how are things going on? How are things going down there? I know the Cape has had some power outages. You've had some issues with along the shore there, of course, and then you had some folks heading into shelters as well. Give us an assessment of the situation down there at this hour.
Thanks. Good to talk to you this morning. The storm is escalating here.
Live
this soon will pass quickly. We had about 114 people and 4 pets in shelters over the evening. And, of course, electrical service, as we heard, the trees down, transformers exploding. In Falmouth, particularly, the hospital's on generator, the police fire department on generator. And even here up at the Mass Military Reservation at the fire station, we are having our issues with electricity. A couple roads in Falmouth impassable because of high water. Hopefully travel in other parts of the Cape is limited. People should not be out. And we're hoping that the storm surge, towards high tide, it doesn't coincide with the peak winds.
Right. Now, when is high tide there? Hello, Kevin? Oh, I think we've lost him. Well, he's reporting what we had reported only a lot more extensively, in that they really are having some power issues down there on the Cape, which we anticipated. You have said all along that you thought there in Falmouth they would definitely have power problems, even the hospital on a generator at this point.
And that's not an unusual situation. They tend to, lose power down there pretty quickly most of the time, especially in the North Falmouth area. That's goes out relatively soon, so not a surprise there. He mentioned a couple of the roadways, the Surf Drive, which runs right along the water. If you run the Falmouth Road Race at all, you know that stretch of roadway. Not a surprise there because of its proximity to the beach that's been shut down as well. A little bit closer to the city, though.
We're looking outside here, and I have to tell you, the conditions have deteriorated here in the Dedham area dramatically in the last 30 minutes, so closer to the city, it is coming. Yeah, and as far as being closer to the city and on the water, we have Brett Connolly with us. He's live along Quincy Shore Drive this morning, and we've had you moving around a couple times, and I guess you had to move around a little bit since you've arrived in Quincy as well. Is that right?
That's right. Our truck was not working a couple blocks down. It was getting disrupted, so we moved down here. This is actually the 4th spot for our crew this morning. We started out at 4:30. We were at the Common at the Park T stop. Slowly it started to build up on us, and we moved out here, and as you can see, the winds are starting to move. There's a ton of rain that's coming down here. Certainly the most aggressive part of the storm that we've seen so far, but I think a lot of that is also based on timing, not necessarily location. Make an introduction for you here. This is the Yacht Club in Quincy Bay, just to get an idea as to where we are right now. You can see some things are kind of moving in and out of the water, and about 500 feet out or so, there might be about 15 or 20 boats out there that are pounding up and down to the water. And if you want to get an indication of how powerful the winds are, maybe come out here tomorrow when it's a little bit nicer and see. Hopefully those boats will still be there, but may or may not be. So it is starting to pick up here in Wollaston Beach, guys.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, it's picking up there. I tell you, this area, it's taken us a little bit longer, but